Hello, everybody. In this post, I'm going to throw out a bunch of dots that, when connected, should hopefully have the effect of changing the way that we think, the way that we perceive. And I'd like to start with this word, belief. Basic definition: a state or habit of mind in which trust or confidence is placed in some person or thing. Something that is accepted, considered to be true, or held as an opinion. Conviction of the truth of some statement or the reality of some being or phenomenon, especially when based on examination of evidence. However, I beg to differ that the majority of our belief systems are not based on the examination of evidence. Our entire lives are controlled by our belief systems. The first are programmed into us when we're first born by our caregivers, our parents, or whoever's raising us. They program into us their belief systems, their perceptions, their understandings of reality. And from there, you have a base to work from. And as you go through puberty and you get into adulthood and you go out into the real world, you adjust those belief systems. The problem is you still have belief systems, and belief systems are not truth. The minute you prove something to be a truth, it ceases to be a belief. And so let's jump in to the first dot. In Psychology Today, Joe Pierre, MD, writes this article: C19 Conspiracy Theories. Was SC2 made in a lab? If not, why do people keep believing that it is? Okay, so let's go down here and I'm going to leave the links to all of these dots that I show you in the description box below, so you can go read all these yourself. But I'm going to jump to the pertinent information for the point that I want to get across. He says, most of the misinformation that's been circulating about C19 hasn't been a result of scientific trial and error so much as it's come from armchair speculators on the internet and cable TV pundits expressing opinions and intuitions without any actual expertise. This has amounted to a vivid demonstration of the Dunning-Kruger effect, whereby those with less actual knowledge about a subject have the disproportionately greatest overconfidence about their knowledge in that same subject. He goes on to say, misinformation about C19 has run the gamut of simple misconceptions to more ridiculous falsehoods and, of course, conspiracy theories. One of the most common conspiracy theories that's been floated once the beginning of C19 hitting the U.S. has been the idea that SC2 is a man-made bioweapon that either escaped a Wuhan research lab or was released deliberately. Put on your tinfoil caps, all of you conspiracy theorists. Because on this day, April 21st, 2020, only a few months after the C19 situation was revealed to the world, a year later, we have this. Damning science shows C19 likely engineered in lab, say experts. And so I'll put the link to the description box below, and you can go read this for yourself. But I'll just read this first paragraph. Damning science strongly suggests that C19 is a man-made monster optimized in a lab for maximum infectivity before hitting the outside to catastrophic effect, 2 experts said on Sunday, and this was written a few days ago, June 6, 2021. Now, you can take off your tinfoil hats, my conspiracy theorist friends, because what this basically does is it shows the infantile functioning of the minds of those who control this planet. And I hope to show that even more as I lay out these dots. Because I'm going to go to this individual. Nobel Prize winner Carrie Banks Mullis, who revolutionized DNA research. He invented the PCR test, which is used to detect whether you are infected with the V. Now, he died at the age of 74 on Wednesday. See, this was written August 8th, 2019. Okay, so August. 5 months or so just before the C19 situation was reported to the world. Now, why would he die from pneumonia? No other information is given. Nothing about his history, whether he was expecting to die. I mean, how did he catch pneumonia? None of this information is explored. But now let's put on our tinfoil hats. Isn't pneumonia one of the main symptoms of C19? Maybe they decided to play a little trick on our scientist and put him out, toes up to the daisies, with their own creation, because they didn't need him saying things like this after the C19 situation began.
Stuff and listen, guys like Faulsy get up there and start talking. He doesn't know anything really about anything, and I'd say that to his face. Nothing. The man thinks you can take a blood sample and stick it in an electron microscope, and if it's got a virus in there, you'll know it. He doesn't understand electron microscopy, and he doesn't understand medicine. He should not be in a position like he's in.
So that's Carrie Mullis talking about Dr. Fauci. Just a few months before he died. Now, I'd like to move over to this wonderful doctor, Dr. Sam Bailey, who has amazing information that everyone should be looking at. Because what she is doing is she is one of the very few people that has the voice to put out the alternative scientific understanding of our C19 situation, which you do not receive on the mainstream media or from your government officials. You see, you're only given one perspective of what they say is the science. But most people don't understand that science is worthless without debate. Because you've got scientists that find one thing in a study about a certain thing, and another scientist finds something else about a study in that same thing, And now there's a debate that must be had. Well, this debate is not being allowed to be heard or seen by the masses of this planet. Only one side. And they say it is the science. However, there's a bunch of scientists out there that have duct tape on their lips.
Well, folks, it looks like dinosaur media is at it again as they step up COVID vaccine propaganda. This time they've alleged that there is a group of anti-vaccine doctors in New Zealand spreading misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine. We'll see that the article doesn't bother to get into any details about what exactly this misinformation is. Nevertheless, state-funded media is trying to educate us about how to spot COVID disinformation. They've even made a little video that has to be seen to be believed.
Now, this is a short 1 minute, 24-second snippet that she posted to introduce you to her Odyssey post, which down in her box below, she has the link to. This is where you click this link to Odyssey, and it will take you to the video that she is talking about in this short snippet. She can't talk about what she's talking about on this Odyssey platform in YouTube because YouTube would immediately shut her down. So I advise everybody, and I will put the link to this in the description box below. Now, the next dot, and it's basically hhs.gov summary of the HIPAA privacy rule. Now, if you guys don't know what HIPAA is, I suggest you go to this. I'll leave the link in the description box below and read this because this is very important. This tells you your rights as far as your health information is concerned. So I'm going to go down to this one spot where it pretty much outlines the whole thing in a nutshell, and it's just one very brief section. The privacy rule protects all individually identifiable health information held or transmitted by a covered entity or its business associate in any form or media, whether electronic, paper, or oral. The privacy rule calls this information protected health information. Now, individually identifiable health information is information including demographic data that relates to the individual's past, present, or future physical or mental health condition, the provision of health care to the individual, the past, present, or future payment for the provision of health care to the individual. In other words, every single bit of data that has to do with your health information between you and your healthcare providers that you choose is private and cannot be infringed upon. And yet, you are not being told this. Instead, you are being pushed into this. At this point, they have it pretty much around travel, entering different countries, things of that sort. However, this is a interesting website, The Points Guy. He basically looks at things and gives you kind of a synopsis or a rundown on various different types of things. And this one has to do with this, the V passports. Now, I just want to read you this first paragraph here. In a post-pandemic world, travelers should be prepared to use V passports to prove vaccination status, which could make it easier to enter certain countries and even states, or to be exempt from strict testing and quarantine requirements. This alone violates HIPAA protections of your health privacy. And yet, the mainstream media and the government officials do not inform you of that. Instead, they are pushing you to get V'd, and they are pushing for this. Why? I hope that these dots are easily connected by your brain. Thanks for watching.